In today's Property Players, I am joined right now by an investor pouring millions of dollars into real estate on the brink of failure, turning them into success stories. Steve Hagenbuckle is here of TerraCap Partners, invest in residential and commercial properties, also bank loans. Steve, welcome to In the Loop. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. I
know you have two funds. The first one primarily residential, and this second, that was around $100 million, right? And the second one around $200 million and mostly commercial, and this is mostly in the sunnier parts of this country, which makes all the sense in the world today. Where do you see value, though? Where are you finding value in commercial in southeastern U.S.?
We find value in the secondary markets. The primary markets are being bid up by a lot of the larger players to replacement cost or higher. So we're focusing on secondary markets, good quality assets, usually 10 years or younger, that are just part of a distressed situation. So, for example, we acquired 7 buildings very close to an airport, a combined 230,000 square feet. We acquired the note, which had a value of $11.1 million. We acquired it for $7.1 million. And then when we acquired all these 7 buildings, it was 55% occupied. So a real key piece to this is, what do you do on the operational side? It's one thing to buy good and have a low cost, then participate in market momentum, but then operational impact is very important. So we took it from 55% occupancy to 84% occupancy in 5 months, increased revenues by about $400,000 a year, and doubled the value of the property overall.
So how did you do that? Because you make a great point. I mean, I was going to ask you anyway about the timing of price, because when you're looking at distressed assets, I'm sure there's a part of you that thinks, okay, I could always get this for cheaper. But then to your point, the follow-up is just as important, this operational. How did you get the occupancy up and so quickly?
Well, the best part of all was with credit tenants. So we have like Home Depot came in, Staples, Red Bull, Neogenomics, players like that. And what we found out is there's a thing that we're terming shadow tenancy, where there's a lot of tenants on the sidelines that are interested in moving to places, but when the ownership is in question or the property's in foreclosure or there's a major default situation going on, they're waiting to see who's going to be that stable long-term owner who will take care of deferred maintenance as well as tenant improvements.
Which makes sense, because if you're a business, you don't want to go through all the time and hassle of moving into your property and then have just extra uncertainties out there.
Right.
But obviously these retail businesses, even in particular, think that there's enough population growth and enough population spending to make it worth their while.
Absolutely.
Or is that backing up the macro research that you're doing?
Yeah, let's take, for example, the Southeast, right? Right now it's home to about 38% of the total U.S. population, and it's also represents about 55 to 58% of all new housing starts. So that's domestic migration going in that area big time for the last 20 years, and it keeps increasing. It intensifies in Florida. So, for example, Florida will average about 250,000 people per year in population growth. Took 60,000 people from the state of New York alone last year. Lower taxes, and of course, there's no state income tax, and then we have no estate taxes. So that's very attractive to a lot of people.
Okay, and thus that is part of the premise, part of the thesis on commercial. Why do you seem finished with residential at this moment?
Well, a lot of the profits we're taking now from residential. The right time to buy into residential was 2009 through 2011.
So basically, if you're trying to do it now, you're too late, is your advice.
Well, there's spread compression. The medium home prices have been going up anywhere from 15 to 20% per year for the last 2 years off of the lows. So, yeah, a lot of the opportunities come and gone.
Steve, thank you very much for the time this morning. Steve Hagenbuckle joining us there, founder and president of TerraCap Partners.